Ladies and gentlemen, over the weekend, Raila Odinga, the Azimio leader, really praised Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, the Wiper Party leader. And most Kenyans, including yours truly, interpreted that move by Raila Odinga to actually mean an endorsement.
Amesimama na mizizi kidete. Hata mara hii ya mwisho hakuchaguliwa kama mgombea mwenza na yangu, lakini alibaki na sisi. Jamaa ana moyo, jamaa ana ukakamavu, jamaa ni mtu ambaye unaweza kumwamini. Yeye ni mtu mwaminifu, yeye tena ni mtu Mkristo, yeye ni mtu ana tabia ya mfingwana, ana upendo kabisa. Juzi nilisikia kama Ruto alikuwa pande hii nasema tu, mimi najua baba hata simama, sasa mimi nitakuwa na saa Kalonzo tu. Anaongea juu ya Kalonzo kama Kalonzo ni kama yeye. Kalonzo ameshinda bwana Ruto mara 10.
But unknown to many Kenyans, that announcement by Raila Odinga caught Kenya Kwanza by surprise. And Kenya Kwanza are really worried about that move. Because if there's one thing that William Ruto is really hoping for and praying for, is for Raila Odinga to be on the ballot in 2027. And William Ruto is making that prayer because of just one factor: the Kikuyu vote. And the truth of the matter is that Raila Odinga is going to be a major factor in Mount Kenya in 2027. And for you to understand the impact of Raila Odinga's statement on Kalonzo over the weekend, two key individuals attended different events and they said something that is significant, politically speaking. Let me begin by what Kanini Kega stated over the weekend in Inoro. Let us begin by what Kanini Kega said during his interview on Inoro. Kanini Kega revealed that Mount Kenya will actually boycott the elections. Not really boycott per se, but they won't have any business in that election if Raila Odinga will not be on the ballot. Because there's a general feeling in the mountain that Raila Odinga is the reason why they normally turn out in large numbers to vote. So if Raila Odinga will not be on the ballot, will they vote? That would impact on the Mount Kenya votes in 2027. And that's why William Ruto is worried. The second individual who spoke is none other than Felix Koskei. Felix Koskei is William Ruto's chief of staff and the head of the public service, a key ally of William Ruto. Felix Koskei was in Asembo for some fine reason. Asembo is in Bondo, actually in Siaya, in Rarieda, but in Siaya County. And Felix Koskei also said something there that caught those who are keen politically by surprise, that there's a chance that Ruto and Raila are likely to work together ahead of 2027 general election. So if you listened closely to the two, Felix Koskei and Kanini Kega, there is the element of Raila Odinga in whatever they are trying to do.
Mungu alisema lazima ujaribu na mkalendine kwa hili kama jirani, hata ukiruka hata ufanye nini, utaruka urudi hapa jana na nitarudi wapi hapa Rift. Wengine labda hawajui tumetoka mbali miaka karibu 1000 baba, hata ndugu yetu na Yesu saa zingine kama maziwa tunaita kiego. Ukimbia unasema mwe, sema mwe. Hivyo ine angwa nini ngapi Sasa mkifika hapa kidogo Kiingereza kidogo kwa mingi mnafikiri nyingi.
Why do you think they were talking like that? They were talking like that because, number one, and this is something that you guys will notice. Number one, after Raila Odinga endorsed Kalonzo, you'll notice two things. Number one, William Ruto will make efforts, serious efforts, to reach out to Raila Amolo Odinga with a possibility of a deal. And I don't know what that deal is going to entail, but I've always told you on this platform that that bipartisan thing is something that you guys really need to pay very close attention to. But one thing you must know is that William Ruto is definitely going to focus on reaching out to Raila Amolo Odinga for a deal. That's going to happen. The other thing which is also going to happen is that William Ruto is going to embark on winning the support of Nyanza, with the assumption that Raila Odinga will now not be on the ballot. And he's not going to venture in Nyanza politics to win. William Ruto is going to venture in Nyanza politics for two main reasons. Number one is to try and convince the people of Nyanza to vote for him so that he can increase his percentage. When he was in Homa Bay and Siaya and Migori the other day, he projected that he's really praying to get 21%. That would be huge for him. But of course, he's also going to come to Nyanza to dampen the spirit of the people of Nyanza so that they don't turn out in large numbers, because the Kikuyus are not going to turn in large numbers. So that is the thing. Number two, William Ruto is also going to put serious efforts on Nyanza to deny Kalonzo Musyoka votes. But why do I strongly believe that Raila Odinga is going to be a major factor in Mount Kenya? And that factor is actually giving William Ruto and Kenya Kwanza sleepless nights. That's exactly what I want to explain to you guys here in very simple terms. So in case you are watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support, because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, allow me to dive in, and I'll try to be very brief, straight to the point. Why do you think Raila Odinga is going to be a factor, a major factor in Mount Kenya in 2027, whether it's going to run or not? Number one is the turnout, voter turnout. If you ask anybody why Raila Odinga lost the election in the last election, they will tell you, of course, if you leave around out the rigging aspect, they will tell you that it's because Nyanza did not really turn out as expected, that over 700,000 votes slept in Nyanza. Now, turnout determines the percentage. If you look at the last election, William Ruto really worked on turnout, ensuring that Azimio sides, their turnout were really suppressed. That's why if you look at the turnout in Ukambani in 2027, it was low. If it was high, as much as William Ruto's vote would have increased, but Azimio's vote would have been much higher. So if Raila Odinga will be on the ballot, it means the turnout in Mount Kenya might actually be high, so that they can stop Raila. But if Raila Odinga will not be on the ballot, what is likely to happen? The turnout is likely to be low. Apart from that, several individuals who are not comfortable with Ruto and Raila, both of them, they will come and vote for Kalonzo. And of course, there are also those who just voted for Ruto because Raila was on the ballot. So some of those would also vote for Kalonzo. So Ruto is worried about the turnout in the mountain. So that's number two is historical and political factors. You know, if you look at the history of this country, there has always been that Luo Kikuyu factor. There has always been that Jaramogi Kenyatta factor. There has been always that Kibaki Raila factor. There's always been that 2007, 2008, when Raila won and he had a bit of problems with Kibaki. So those are historical factors that have always determined the voting pattern of the mountain. So in case Raila Odinga will not be on the ballot, all those factors will not be at play. And William Ruto has always used those factors to his advantage successfully. He used them successfully in the last election. And that is the biggest nightmare. Because without those historical factors, if Raila Odinga is not on the ballot, then you can't tell the mountain, wale watu wa kurusha ma. You can't tell them, how wanasumbua. The way William Ruto normally excites and incites the crowd in the mountain in the name of Raila Odinga. So all those will not happen because likely they are going to have a totally different candidate. The third factor why this is giving Ruto serious political headache is the class warfare. In the last election, William Ruto fashioned his campaign as the rich versus the poor, the hustler versus dynasty. Now, assuming Raila Odinga was on the ballot, it would be easy for Ruto to tell people that Raila Odinga is a son of a former president. A vice president. He can never tell them that Raila Odinga, despite the fact that he's a son of a former vice president, spent 9 years in jail just fighting for them. So William Ruto, again, if Raila Odinga will be on the ballot, he will tell them how the two families, three, they are normally three. That is Kenyatta's, Moi, and the Odingas. Without telling you that the Odingas have never really worked very closely with the Kenyatas until this time, either with Moi until Moi almost died. But if Raila Odinga were not on the ballot, if Raila Odinga will not be on the ballot, the thing is that hustler versus dynasty narrative is going to die. Because if you take Kalonzo this side and Ruto this side, Kalonzo is even more hustler because Kalonzo's rise cannot be attributed to Moi. He just emerged and Moi noticed him. For Ruto, he was a Kalenjin who was in Nairobi. Those times, very few Kalenjins were in Nairobi, and it was easy for him to join Youth for KANU as a CU because Moi was also moved to a CU. Yeah, so that class warfare will not be there. It's a big headache for Ruto team because they'll have to go back to the drawing board and figure out how do we deal with Kalonzo. And number 4, why Ruto is worried about Raila Odinga factor is the rallying call. What will be the rallying call in the mountain? Because right now, if you give any leader from the mountain a microphone to speak or to address the people, they will never end without talking about Raila. Now, if you have Kalonzo, for example, as a presidential candidate, what will they say? Which means Raila is still going to be a factor, whether it's going to run or not. And lastly, if Raila Odinga will not be on the ballot, William Ruto's fear are 2. Number 1 is that the mountain is really disappointed. And because they are disappointed, if Raila Odinga will not be on the ballot, then they can say, okay, those who voted for Kenya Kwanza, let's try a different candidate. So some of them might come and find shelter under Azimio tree. So that is number 1. Number 2, there's also the possibility that if Raila Odinga would not be on the ballot, then someone in Mount Kenya might decide to also sponsor a candidate. And because Mount Kenya are disappointed, they'll figure out that they need their party, they need their numbers for post-2027. That will be serious problem and trouble for William Samoei Arap Ruto. I don't know what you think, but that's my take. Until next time, this is Lee Makwiny. Bye-bye.